Hey, what's up, family? It's Mental Stimulant, the Divine Empress. Excuse me. Coming through for a moment. I wanted to share something with you guys real quick while I had a moment. Um, this is just, one of the things that some may experience when they get on their divine path, their journey. I think it's needless to say that lots of us, we're going to be attacked. We're going to be tried. And there's going to be a lot of things that we're faced with to deviate us from our path. You know, it's not going to be easy. I've said that many times before, especially when you become knowledgeable of how you're being attacked and how you're choosing to respond to those attacks, whether you're aware or not. Um, in respects to um, celibacy or a choice to abstain, you know, once you become aware of how valuable and important your sacral energy is, and the knowledge that most times the first chakras that are attacked by dark forces is your sacral and your root chakra. Sometimes also, if you have gifts of prophecy, of seeing, your crown chakra, your third eye, also would be attacked. If you have a purpose in public speaking, your throat chakra would be attacked a lot. And then there's also the thing of any open previous wounds that you once had. Wounds maybe of generational curses, traumas, etc. You know, typically those are attacked as well. Um, if you've had any type of trauma with molestation or highly promiscuous, those will be the entryways on where you're attacked to lower your vibration. Um, I dealt with a lot of different types of attacks. At some point in my celibacy, you know, uh, the dream invasions, you know, sometimes I wasn't even sleeping. A lot of spiritual people are aware when their chakras are being attacked when they're awake because you can feel them if you're aware of what they really are. Some people may say, oh, I have a pain here, a pain here, and believe it or not, a lot of times we're being attacked spiritually and don't know it. But I want to share an instance where I can't recall if was asleep. I think I was like right before being asleep, and I had been celibate for a little while. Hadn't even really thought about, sex, because once you get used to it and really discipline yourself, I don't care how highly sexual you are previously. Once you discipline yourself and you get used to it, you will rarely even think about it. Like I was saying, I was somewhere in between sleep and awake. And uh, everyone knows how I feel when you're highly turned on, but this was like highly turned on by 1,000. Like the overwhelming of the sensation was so intense that I was physically shaking. If you were next to me or in presence of me, you would have seen it, because the shaking was not volatile to where, it's like I can't control myself, but the shaking to where it was noticeable. Um, at first, I thought nothing of it. I said, well, I have been particularly stressed lately. I have had a lot on my plate lately, and I sometimes like to think that there's a lot of things that human beings use as stress relievers in sex, or self gratification is one of those things. So I want you to keep in mind that this was at a time where I wasn't even thinking about, sex. And it didn't really occur to me until after, because when you're on your journey, you're not alone. Your spiritual team is there. I don't have to tell those who know that know. So it was so intense. My first thought was to relieve myself. But in trying to relieve myself to get the sensation off of me, because like I said, it was so intense, like it almost was, I'm gonna say taunting for lack of a better word, but I just wanted to go away. So of course I tried to relieve myself and I couldn't. So I got frustrated, like, what the, you know what I'm saying? I haven't been doing anything. So typically, anytime that I would do something like that, is over as soon as it starts. I don't mean to be graphic, I'm just saying. And, that's on very few occasions. Moderation, anything should not be excessive. And once you know how important your sacral energy is, you're not just wasting it. It is the same as, you know, men being told not to spill your seed. Don't waste it, because you don't know how much power you hold behind that. It's your life force. Um, I couldn't relieve myself. So I was upset. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, still trembling, I cuffed my hands together and placed them between my legs. Uh, Squeezed my thighs together and rolled on my side. Still trembling. It was so frustrating and intense all at the same time. All I could do was cry. But then in that moment, whether it be my higher self or my spiritual team, they begin to tell me, you're being under attack. You're not going through that just to be going through that. Someone is pulling on your sacred energy. And people that pull on your sacred energy, there's plenty of means of how they do that when they're knowledgeable spiritually. It could be past people you have once slept with, and they're thinking of you in that manner in an obsessive type of way. I don't really like breaking stuff like that down, because I don't want people privy to how to manipulate energy that shouldn't be. But there's a lot of people that are aware of how to manipulate energy, how to steal your energy, your sacred energy. In your sacred energy lies such a powerful force that can move or fuel someone's ambitions. Now, if you're curious as to how you do that, you should seek knowledge for yourself. But long story short, once I was aware, I started praying, and a feeling rushed over me to where it was like it was the urge, the feeling, the overwhelming part of it. Just, it was like having a sheet on you and someone pull it off. You understand? That's how I felt. But it was energy. I'm outside. It's really cold. This weather doesn't know what it wants to do. It's go from cold to hot, warm to cold. So, but I really wanted to share that with you guys. If you have a situation like that, or even in a dream state, pray. Pray, because you're being attacked. Something or someone is attempting to siphon your sacred energy. Pray. I love you so much. Peace.